Today on Homeworthy, we're bringing you to Austin, Texas for a look inside interior designer Laura Williams' cozy and serene home. Laura completely gut-renovated her builder-grade home into a haven that showcases her layered and inviting aesthetic. With a soothing neutral color palette, each room seamlessly flows into the next. Sentimental touches and clever storage solutions are sprinkled throughout every space to give her busy family life a sense of ease. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story. Before today's episode, click the join button below to support all of the storytelling we do on this channel. Our growing community of members help to directly fund more videos so we can capture these extraordinary homes from around the world. So join today to receive early and exclusive access to new Homeworthy videos.
Hi Homeworthy, my name is Laura Williams and I am the owner of ATX Interior Design. Welcome to my house here in Austin, Texas. Welcome to my home. This house was built in the 90s and it has been a labor of love. It's gone through a lot of iterations from when we first started working on this home 7 years ago. We came from Florida, so it's been a big transition to move from my tropical type of styling to where I've transitioned to today. But I feel like you'll see hints of the natural woven materials and things that I like from Florida that I always used and tried and true, and kind of elevated it and matched it with maybe some moody colors or different tones, and kind of bringing it all together to kind of create my own style, which is very cozy, lived in. I try to make it elevated but also approachable. So I have a busy family. I have a 5 and 7-year-old. My husband and I both work full time, and we have 2 furry friends here that have decided to join us for this. And so this home is very well lived, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm happy to show you around. So here in our entryway, we definitely, when I first came in, this place needed it was a builder grade home. It needed some architectural interest, if you will. So I put in some of this wainscoting. I love what it can do because it's understated, but it really elevates a space to make it feel special. Something I also like to do is to add in some greenery. I have, this is real, but then that one's faux. It's okay to mix it if it looks good. And also mixing materials with my wood tones, a little woven here like I mentioned, marble. And then this is actually special, and you'll see these paintings sprinkled throughout my house. This is actually painted by my great-grandmother. And so it's pretty special that I was able to steal some of them from my parents and put in my home. They were happy to share with me. So yes, something else I did was I added in these black woven pendants, which are super oversized and beautiful. The one thing people say 8 times out of 10 when they come into my house, if they've never been here before, is, "Oh my goodness, I love those lights. Where did you get them?" Of course, now they don't make them, but I did get them from Article, like 7 years ago. And I just really love that. Again, they're a woven, natural feeling light, but since they're black, they're a little bit more, stand out a little bit more, a little more special. And this is Delilah. She wants to be a star. She's like, this is my time to shine. Another thing we brought in here was the woven rug for the entryway. It's nice to have somewhere to wipe your feet when you come inside, and bringing in another natural element. Different textures are really important to me. I tend to be drawn to just layering in textures with all of my designs, and so that's something I try to do, whether it's through accent decor or on the pieces themselves. This is from Four Hands, and this is just one of my favorite pieces because it pulls a different wood tone than what you're normally looking at. Especially my floor I have is, I put in this acacia hand scraped engineered hardwood, and it's great. You know, it's become a little bit lived in. It's definitely patinaed over time, if you will, because I have young children, and you kind of have to accept that that's going to happen over time if you will get the real wood versus, you know, a laminate or something to that extent. But I love this wood because it's so dimensional. The colors are so varying throughout, and as you go through the home, I have them everywhere in my home. I did the entire space in this wood. And actually we started only on the first floor and kept the carpet upstairs, and then we decided it was time to move forward and do another, you know, layer of renovations, which my poor husband, he has to deal with it all the time. I'm always like, ooh, what if we change this? This will be so fun. And he's always, do we have to? Like, we just got back to normalcy. But it's the dangerous part of my job is that my brain's always going and wanting to change things. Which actually brings me into the dining room, because this room has actually seen a lot of different iterations. Again, we've got some woven, we have some elevated light, you know, but I brought the wainscoting in here as well. And this has been painted by me. I tend to paint when my husband goes on business trips. And he comes home and he's like, oh, you painted the dining room again, okay. But he always likes it, so it's good. But when we first had all the work done to our home, this was a nice pale green color with white up here. It was very sweet, I loved it, but then I wanted to change, and I painted it like a charcoal color called Cheating Heart by Benjamin Moore, which I have sprinkled throughout my house, and so you'll hear me say that paint color again because it's one of my favorites. But, and I had that for a while with the Cheating Heart down here and white up here. Started to feel a little farmhousey, especially with my staircase and the matte black iron. So then I moved into this Waterloo most recently. I did this maybe a year ago. And it has actually really transformed the space. And I brought it all the way to the ceiling because I just kind of wanted to not fully color drenched, but get it as much color drenched as I could. My ceiling continues out of this space and into other areas, so there isn't a definitive cutoff in here. So I had to stop it with the trim above, but I love this color. So one of my favorite things about my dining room is actually this one-of-a-kind painting by Eileen Fitzgerald. She's actually a local artist, but she is world-renowned. You can buy her art in a lot of different big stores. She's extremely talented, and over time I've become her friend, which is, you know, very nice because she's as kind as she is talented. So we went to her art show and I saw this there and I was like, that needs to be in my dining room, because it just, like, the blues from here pull from this Waterloo color up here. It's just so stunning. And what's amazing is that this is very different from her normal pieces. So the fact that we have such a special piece is very cool, and I'm very appreciative that she made this one-of-a-kind piece, and it's here in my home, so I feel very grateful for that. Another thing, I like to bring in a lot of different, again, neutrals, but then I want it, you know, with the blue, you can't have too many things. But this is a nice textile. So the fact that we have a velvety drape here is just a nice touch to soften the space a little bit, so it's not too dark and muted, but it's still a nice neutral taupe color. And it ties into these 4-hand chairs. This is from the Amber Lewis collection, and I love them. What's nice is, you know, you have your leather here, and then the woven, again, another woven detail. I'm realizing now that I have so many woven details in my house, more than I even thought. But again, mixing the wood tones with the wood tone here versus the wood tone from my table and also her frame, tying in a little bit more taupe and a different layer of something that is adding an element that is not greenery, but still gives the same effect of a little bit of life in here. And then we have our last family member here. This is Linda the fish. She lives in the dining room, so she gets to stare at the artwork all the time. She's the luckiest one probably of all of us. We got Linda because my son got a goldfish at the rodeo and the goldfish did not survive. So now we have Linda, the betta fish, who will hopefully survive longer than, that goldfish did. So when we first moved into this house, it actually was a little bit more closed off here. So this was not open. The stair came all the way down to where you can see this post is here. And there was a little bit of an opening at the bottom. And also there was an archway, like one of those, like one of those fake archways where it just had curves on either side. So I removed those. I wanted it to feel more expansive and open in here. So when I was designing the space, the biggest thing I wanted to create was sight lines throughout. And I really wanted a wow moment when you walked in the door, which I think we achieved with the stairs like this, so that you can really see straight out into the yard with the windows. One of the most beautiful things about this home is the fact that we have so much natural light that comes in. Being able to bring the eye straight from the front door to the backyard has been a really special thing. So I think next we should travel into the music room. It's right here off of the entry and dining area. And it's actually one of my most favorite spaces in the house. So let's go on over there. So here we are in the music room. This is my most favorite room in the house, I think, because it has a lot of special things. First of all, this piano has been in my family for years. My mom got this piano when she was 5 years old. She learned how to play on it. When my parents got married, my dad is a musician and professional musician, and he plays the piano beautifully, teaches voice lessons, also plays organ, all the fun stuff. So I grew up in a very musical family. I studied music for years, and so I always took piano lessons, learned on this piano. All my voice lessons that I had were while my father was, or anything that I had singing, it was with this piano. And so this was very special. My parents actually retired from their jobs last year and moved here from Florida. And when they did that, they downsized to a smaller house and therefore could not fit this beautiful baby. And so I said I would take it off their hands. And so when they moved here, they brought the piano, and now it lives with me, which brings me so much joy that now my children can learn on this piano. And it's just very special. And then as you can see, we have a collection of guitars here. My husband used to be in a band. He went on Warped Tour, did all that fun stuff. So we have a lot of fun playing music together as a family. So this is just a really special space where we can just kind of unite and be together and sing around the piano and with a guitar. It sounds so silly, but that was my life growing up. We always, were singing around after dinner or playing guitar. And so it's fun that we can do that here in my home as well. Some beautiful design elements that I really like. Having, an approachable, but this is still a little bit more upscale than your typical, armchairs. But I love this because, you can sit here comfortably enough, and it swivels, which is kind of fun. But you can sit here comfortably enough, play the guitar, and be together as a unit. But anyway, so some nice things I like to do, bringing in some light and dark everywhere. When you haven't, this is a pretty massive piece, and it's very dark and it's weighted pretty heavily. So I wanted to bring in some lighter textiles on the chairs. So, we've got a nice, I would say like an oatmeal-y beige, if you will, here, but then still tying in the black with the table and the planter, all the different details, just to kind of balance the space a little bit more. Again, with the nice drapes that will go floor to ceiling, and a beautiful velvety material just to soften it up a little bit. I also like to add in a lot of different patterns throughout. If you see my pillows that I have everywhere, they kind of soften it up with different, we have some floral pillows, some geometric pillows, some stripes. It's just nice to kind of change it up everywhere and have a balance of it not all being the same. And again, my style is very much a cozy, lived-in style. I don't want this place to feel like a museum. Also, with my kids, I want them to be able to sit and eat anywhere. I want them to be able to just relax in their homes. And that's very hard to do when you care too much about all of, the little things, the knickknacks, the this, that. So I've just decided that it's fine, and we're gonna just do our best to take care of what we have and make it comfortable and cozy for a family to live and be and spend time together. Some other elements in this space, again, I'm realizing I'm a woven machine now. I thought that I only put it in the house a little bit, and now I'm seeing it everywhere. This beautiful pendant up here above the piano. When you come in, it's fun to have like a moment where, since this is right off the entryway, you walk in the front door and you see the piano and this beautiful light above it, and it just feels very special to me. And I really, once we got this piano, I wanted this to be the showstopper as you come in. And I think highlighting it with this light right here is you walk in, it's like, oh, you're like, here I am in this beautiful space with, a musical family that this is such a big piece of us. So it's pretty cool. And then another thing I like to always do is bring in some greenery. So here you see it all throughout. It's fun to have it in different spaces. And here, actually, this is a special pedestal that I also got at Round Top. It's funny because I go and I source for clients all the time, but I end up bringing a lot of things to my own house. It's a dangerous thing to be in this industry because you see all the beautiful things all the time and you just want it in your own home. So it is what it is. It's just the nature of the game, I guess. Another thing, actually, this lamp is so special because I actually renovated a client's kitchen, and this was from her dad's collection of things, and he was getting ready to move and was downsizing, elderly gentleman in his 70s or maybe even 80s, and that was one of her moms, and I was able to get that from them. I saw it and I was just like, that is so beautiful and special. You don't really see authentic lamps like this anymore. They just don't make them like they used to. So I really love that, and that's very special to me. Something also that we did in here when we renovated, again, this had those little archways at the top, so I removed those and created a little bit more of a straight sight line, if you will. But this is actually a double-sided fireplace. The fireplace was not on this side of the room at all. It was only on the opposite side, which is actually the living room. And so I had in my brain that I wanted a double-sided fireplace. And actually, when we were searching for a home, I was looking for opportunities to put a double-sided fireplace in somewhere. That, and also a massive island, which when we go into the kitchen, you'll see my dreams came true because it's entirely too large, but I love it, and it's fun for hosting and everything, but I digress. So this fireplace was a very exciting thing for me. This was just a regular wall. This would probably be considered the formal living room when the house was built in the 90s, and I feel like we've changed it so much from what it was when we first came in to how it is now. Adding in additional seating that's just built in, an opportunity to display more artwork, another piece for my great-grandmother, which is pretty special. And, another place to put some nice greenery and really make it feel lived in and cozy and inviting. So here, again, I can display my pillows. This is cozy for anybody to sit. And in the winter, it's actually so nice. I have this fireplace on every single morning. I like to get up early. My routine is my alarm goes off at 5 and I have to start getting my kids ready at 6. So then from 5 to 6, I'm able to drink my coffee, look through emails, get my day sorted, and just kind of get my life together before the chaos of motherhood ensues a little bit. So it's really nice for me to have all these different options of places to go and escape, especially since when you do have kids, spaces get messy. They're not always clean. I'd love to say that my house looks like this all the time. It doesn't. It took a lot of preparation to have every space be perfectly beautiful for this right now, but I do my best. But it's nice to have different areas that you can go to where you can have a peaceful moment, where it is clean, it is lovely, and there aren't toys that you can trip on or anything. And so this creates a moment for me here. Something else that we did in the music room is create a cased opening into the living room so that we can actually enjoy the space and have it flow together. So on the other side of this fireplace, I create this cased opening. So it is, again, a defined space, like I was saying before, but we do have some united areas where you can go in the flow. And especially, I keep bringing it back to the family aspect, but this is our family home. We are here. I'm planning on being here until my kids graduate from high school. So since, this is the place where they're little to big, it's important to have some definition, but then also some flow where if they've got their tricycle and they're going in circles around the fireplace, which they have done many times, there's a way to do that, and it's safe, and it's inside controlled chaos, which I think is the key to family life, is just having controlled chaos, because there will be chaos, and having it be not too crazy is great. So traveling then from the music room, we're here in the living room, which I try to make as cozy as possible. The big comfy couch, places where lots of bodies can sit and snuggle up. We joke because I can put my head here and my husband can put his head on the other side, and our feet actually just touch. And then normally we have each of us a child on us, which is fun for us because we like to watch movies. This is where we like to be cozy together. Most important thing about when designing a home for me is creating a space that you want to be in. You want to spend time with your family, and you want people to come visit and want to stay. But then, you have to kick them out eventually. But having a place where you can be cozy together, spend time together, and something that I always think about is when my kids are teenagers, I want our house to be the house where they bring their friends so we can still be a part of their lives and be around. But I don't want to be the parent that says, no, you can't go here. Just creating a space where your kids want to be, where their friends want to be, and it be a fun and nice atmosphere for them, and a safe environment. If it's your own home, it's a little bit more controlled, if you will. So some wonderful things in this space that I love. Again, the oversized couch, the oversized coffee table, this fun little ottoman. It's nice to add in some different patterns. You'll see I have a lot of different patterns in here, which you would think would feel chaotic or crazy, which maybe it is to some people, but to me, I think it makes it feel more approachable and livable and cozy to have all of these different elements. So we've got our stripes here. There's a little floral pattern, some checkered, and then of course on the couch, we've got it all. So it's fun to bring in all these different elements and textures and patterns through the accessories. And also, I change my accessories all the time. It's so easy to take off a pillowcase and put on a new pillowcase. So with the season, I often do that because it's fun to switch it up. And also, like I said before, I like to change things up because, not that I get bored of it, but I see new things and it's exciting and fun for me. Something special in here that I did a little differently from the dining room is actually bringing the wainscoting all the way to the ceiling. I wanted the wall to feel special. So actually this is where, back to school day photos, I always do in front of this. Anytime my kids are in a cute outfit, I'm like, oh, go pose in front of the wall. They know what that means when I say go in front of the wall, because this is where we take all of our photos, which is nice to have a space where I can actually, not have it just be a normal Texas textured wall, or it's not heavily patterned or a color to where, it may not go with what you have going on, in your outfit or what you're doing. So it's fun. My husband and daughter went to a father-daughter dance recently, and so I did like their prom pictures, if you will, here in front of the wall, which was really fun. So it's nice to bring it all the way to the ceiling. The smaller boxes add a little bit more of an element. In the other room, I had the base and, a longer one on the bottom and a shorter one here. I wanted the evenly spaced floor to ceiling here. And it also highlights our staircase a little bit differently, which is kind of fun. Something else I like to do is, in order to fit more bodies in places, again, we like to host a lot. What's fun is these are little swivel stools. Little stools and ottomans are so easy to just move around. I like to have all of my girlfriends over for wine nights. We'll go, everybody gets their kids to bed, and then they come over and we'll have wine, and I'll have 15 women in here, and we're all there's plenty of seats all in this one room, which is really fun. And so that's something that I always like to encourage my clients to do, is have little ottomans or poofs or areas where people can sit that aren't the floor, even though I'm ready to get on the floor anytime. I'm okay with sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor and being comfortable, but it's nice for people who don't want to do that to have options. So we've got another bench on the fireplace like we do on the other side with some cozy pillows, and then all of this, which is nice to be able to have a space for as many people as possible. Also, with us being the first ones in our family to come here, a lot of our extended family comes, and they'll come and stay with us. And so when we're all spending time together, it's nice to have enough space for everybody to sit, play a game at the coffee table, and go from there. What's funny about this couch is I actually used to have a nice taupe colored couch in here, but after we got Delilah a couple years ago, I realized that my fear of having a white couch was then outweighed by having white hair all over the taupe couch. So I'd rather not know the hair is there and have it be hidden inside of the couch, with the same color as her, instead of seeing it everywhere. And my kids are actually pretty good with the white couch. I'm not too afraid of them staining it. And, if they drop something, they wipe it up. They've learned. So it's not too bad, but she's dictated which couch to have in this home because of her nice blonde hair. So back over to this styling moment here. I like to have a nice way to display some of the things that I've collected over time, pieces of artwork. This up here is actually a photograph from my photographer from her travels. And so she's very talented, and she likes to do travel photography as well. So she always photographs all of my projects. Her name is Madeline Harper, and she also photographs during her travels all over the world. So that's special to me. I like to keep that there. I have family photos down here, and then also some special pieces of art. The sunset is actually from our niece. She painted that. And actually next year she's going to school for interior design. So I'm very excited because she's going to be so much better than I am. She's going to have all the education, and I can't wait. I'm going to steal her and make her join my team. And then this actually is from my best friend, who is a ceramicist. And I actually have her stuff all over my house, sprinkled around, mostly in the kitchen, and I'll point those out. But Allie Bond, she is a very talented ceramicist in Austin, Texas. And so it's fun to have a place to kind of showcase things that you care about, photos, and of course layering in different textiles. Greenery, again, is key. As you can see, I live in a botanical garden in this home, and it's good for the air quality, and it makes you happy to have living things around you beyond the sleepy dog on the couch. So if we transition into the kitchen here, this space was probably the biggest transformation, just from a structural standpoint. As you can see, I have a post here. This is structural. I could have very well put in a beam. It was gonna cost us an arm and a leg, and this is not too intrusive. So we kept the post here, and there was a wall. And then over on this side of the kitchen was just a breakfast nook with, you know, just a basic chandelier and an empty space. And then over here, you had your sink facing out that way, and a teeny tiny island over here, and that was it. But when we were searching for homes in Austin, I wanted to be able to have a massive island. So I think this thing is like 14 feet, which sounds ridiculous. Like, who needs a 14-foot island? I don't know why it was so important to me, but we were searching that I just wanted to have a space where we could have as many people over as we wanted and gather around. We have an uni pizza maker, and I can't tell you how many times we've thrown pizza making parties, and we'll get all the dough and all the kids will sit at the island and they'll all take turns and they'll have all their toppings, and this whole thing is filled with flour and dough and the cheese is flying, and it's just such a fun space to be to gather and to be around. And I love to host parties for all of our friends, baby showers, all of that. So this is always where we, you know, do the buffet of food, which is really fun. Some special details in the kitchen that I appreciate, of course, the lighting. It is very oversized. Most people don't want a 24-inch pendant above their island, but the space allows for it. And I feel like there's enough visibility and light that moves through this to where it doesn't feel intrusive or stuffy. So I love this element. And again, it's something that evolved and changed through time of us living here, and also my taste evolving and changing too. So again, you know, something I like to tie in, the woven elements. They just make you feel like you wanna sit down. So I love these bar stools or counter height stools are so sturdy, and I like that they bring in the black. So again, you know, I'm bringing in touches of black everywhere, but I don't want it to feel like you're in, you know, a white and black house. So these neutral, natural elements are key. I always have fresh flowers on the counter. And if I don't, it's because they just died and I had to throw them away and haven't made it to the store yet. So I love to bring in fresh flowers as much as possible. And that's just another thing to make this home feel cozy, welcoming, and inviting. A special thing about our island is I did put the sink inside of it purely because we had the plumbing right there from where it was before when they had that peninsula jetting out. And so I said, all right, let's just keep it there. It's not going to be centered. You know, this is kind of a weird space where you would think you would want your vent hood to be the center of the space. That is what you're looking at. I feel like in here, because of where our windows are, because of the cabinetry layout, we could not have that symmetrical moment. So I ran with it and I created smaller symmetrical moments. So the kitchen is kind of split by the sink, and I have symmetrical moment over here with the open shelves on either side of your vent hood and range. And then on the other side, I have, you know, just a beautiful bar area where I like to, you know, I have a wine fridge, and some some potted flowers in the window. So again, another natural element. I love having opportunities to display things. Now, people will say open shelving in kitchens are silly because they need to hold things for you. Luckily, this kitchen has enough hidden storage to where I can utilize this as decorative space, but also I like to make it functional. So these black plates and bowls over here are actually the bowls and plates that I use every single day. We have our cereal in this. These are our dinner plates that we use on the regular. And so they'll say, you know, people ask about, what about dust? What about this? If you're using them all the time, they're not going to get dusty. So that's kind of where I am on the open shelf argument. And I also like to have an opportunity to display beautiful things like my cookbooks and more plants, of course, because Why not? Moving on to the other half of the kitchen, which was previously the breakfast nook. So in here, they actually had taller windows. We ended up replacing all the windows in the house over time, but the initial replacement of windows was in the back of the house because the sun comes in here in the afternoon and it's so hot. So we had to change that immediately when we first moved in. That was one of the first things. So since we were doing that anyway, I wanted to have more storage, more opportunities for entertainment space. I wanted a wine fridge because I love red wine. And so I designed this space to really just house a lot more of our utensils, some, you know, the napkins, the this, the that, all the cooking supplies, the baking supplies. They all live here. We actually use this space here for all of our pet food, the treats, all of that. So it's nice to have all these spaces kind of thoughtfully planned out to where you can decrease your clutter in your home by having a dedicated space for everything. And when you have a space that allows it, obviously that's helpful. But yeah, these beautiful windows overlooking the magnolia trees here in our neighborhood. You know, the houses are not terribly close, but they're not terribly far. And so when I put in these windows, we were talking about, well, now we're just gonna be staring at our neighbor's, you know, driveway right there. And so we put in these magnolia trees, and they were much, much smaller when we first did it. And so it's been such a nice treat to see them grow. And I was hoping that we would have the open buds when you guys were here, but we missed it. That was last week. So, but they're still beautiful, and I enjoy seeing them every day. This is a fun spot because if I'm working from home, and I love to just sit at the island here and look out these windows, and it just helps me to have a nice, you know, calming moment while I'm working. When you're seeing nature, but you're still inside because it's extremely hot outside here. So oftentimes when I'm entertaining, I'll put, you know, wine out here, charcuterie board, just so that it can feel, you know, welcoming, but then it's not too in your face. I think Delilah wants to go outside, so why don't we travel outside, and I'd love to show you what we've done with our backyard. Come on. Okay, welcome to the backyard. This space has transformed probably just as much as the inside, if not more. So when we first moved into this house, there was a wooden deck painted like a reddish stain, and you know, with a picnic bench and all the fun things. It was very nice, but we wanted to put in a pool. So actually in 2020, we gutted the entire yard. So I was very excited when we did this. We kind of created a really awesome oasis out here that I love. So if we want to start here, a nice outdoor kitchen. We put in a pour spout. We actually don't even drink beer, but we can create our own cocktails here. So I've made a margarita and put it on tap, which is kind of fun. There's a beverage fridge here, and then the taps go under here. Little vegetable and herb garden up on our privacy fence. Again, like I said, inside, you know, we can kind of see into our neighbor's yard quite a bit. And so having this privacy fence has created a more intimate space here for, you know, just our family to be and sit and eat together. Of course, the twinkle lights always add a nice element when you're in an outdoor space, kind of makes it feel special. Something else that's interesting up here is this guy. This is a cold plunge. My husband and I have gone through phases where we do it more often than not. I'm in the less often phase, but I think since now we're nearing super, super hot months, I will probably be doing it more often, but we try to cold plunge like once a week at least. But my husband has gone through phases where he will do it more frequently than that. But it's funny because we've had pool parties with all of our friends and it's turned into a plunge party, and everybody, even the 5 and 6-year-olds, will like jump in and jump out, and then they like start going crazy because they think they've just accomplished the most difficult thing ever, which it is very difficult. So it's kind of fun to have it here in a place where, because you know, we've talked about moving it into other areas down here so it's not a focal point when you first come out. But if it's down there, no one's going to use it. So it's kind of fun that it's become an activity where people come over and, you know, get to hop into the plunge. And also we love fitness, we love to work out, and it feels really good after a long hot run to hop in this guy. So it's kind of fun. Moving this way, we have a hot tub here, which anybody who has small children knows that having a date night doesn't happen as frequently as you'd like. So it's really nice to have a spot where kids are in bed, we can just kind of depart a little bit and just like spend evenings here in the hot tub, relaxing, catching up on our day. And so I love this here, and it's beautiful because it overlooks the hills that we have here in West Austin. Something kind of special in our yard, again, we tried to create some privacy. Not like we're the most private people, but when you live in a neighborhood where the homes are a little bit closer together, it's nice to create some definition of your space to where people aren't in your business all the time. And so we put in these bamboo around the pool, which was crazy to see how they've grown. So we've cut this back twice this season already, and it is just crazy. But when we put them in, it was just small sticks that didn't even go up to the fence, and now they're just towering over. So it's been really cool to see how they've grown and gotten so much fuller and larger, and they've really done exactly what we wanted them to do, which is create privacy around the pool when we're swimming with our family and, you know, have loved ones over. We don't need our neighbors peering into the pool area. So, and actually we have a nature belt behind us, and so there's a trail, so people are walking back there pretty frequently for exercise and just to go for hikes. And so with that, it's nice to have the bamboo along the back side as well. Over here on this side of the pool area, we have our fire pit, which has actually become a really nice little cozy spot to come. When we have family visit, this is where we like to congregate in the evenings and just kind of relax. The kids will be swimming, and you know, typically when my sister will come, we'll just sit out here. I'll have a glass of wine and we can just relax together. We have a designated gas line that comes directly to here. Originally, I thought I wanted the fire pit closer to the back door, but I love that we brought it out here because then it kind of separates it and also allows for enough room for us to actually enjoy that area up there for dining and things to that degree. So, and then of course, you know, the pool loungers, everybody loves to just relax and get some sun. Some nice shade though for when it's a day like today where we might be getting a little hot and need to protect ourselves from the sun a little bit. Over here on the other side of the yard is kind of the fun zone for the kids when we're not in the pool. So we have our trampoline down here. That was kind of an important part of this whole thing, was where are we going to put a playscape or a trampoline. When we first built this area, there was a playscape, but now it is a trampoline zone just because my kids will come out and they will jump for hours and hours. So that has become a really staple spot. And again, with all the different levels, we had to be really strategic with all the steps, where we're putting steps, how we're doing that. Over here, we have all these beautiful oak trees, and we tried twice to lay sod, and it was not sticking because of these beautiful oak trees. So we put down turf, and it's been amazing. It's a great place to come and relax. The kids will play soccer out here. They'll climb the rope. My daughter, when she was little, well, she's still little, she's 7, but when she was like 3 or 4, she would climb and go up that rope and think that she was climbing Rapunzel's hair. So that's kind of a fun little thing, but we love this space. So this is a fun little area to just relax. all of the kids come and play, and swings galore, soccer net. Delilah likes to hang out here as well. So it's fun. And then it's cool that our whole backyard has turned into a little bit of a loop here, to where you can go and kind of experience the whole space in one foul swoop. Is pretty fun. I continued the railings out here to look similar to the inside. A lot of what I like to do with design when I'm doing something in the outside is I like to marry the two spaces together. So a lot of the elements of the contrast, the warmth with different materials, greenery, wood tones, all of that I like to incorporate in an outdoor space as well. I think we've gotten enough heat outside here, so let's go ahead and travel back inside. We have some more areas to explore. This is our home office. Back to that paint color I said I mentioned that I really loved. It's called Cheating Heart by Benjamin Moore. I painted my husband's doors to his office that color. I think the same day that I painted that, but then that was changed. The dining room was changed, and now it still lives on these doors. But I like it because it brings that depth and that darkness without it being a stark black color. So in his office, we've got Kitty in here now. We wanted to make this space feel special. He is on his computer on Zoom calls all the time, and so it's nice and important for him to have a nice background. Again, with more guitars. I think that he has collected more guitars than I can count, and he trades them out and all the fun stuff. It's fun for him. It's a hobby to collect guitars. So I always like, hey, let's display them, and then it can be a beautiful feature as well. So it's a win-win for both of us. We put up this nice slat wall actually not too long ago, because I feel like it just felt really messy in here, and this kind of just gave this space a purpose. He's less likely to kind of leave a mess in front of it of miscellaneous things if it's beautiful and he's proud of it. So we created this over here, and oftentimes, you know, when you're on a call, you need to step away from your computer, retreat somewhere else. I like to always put a comfy chair inside of an office, so that you have a place where you can kind of step away for a second, regroup, and get back into it. And then my husband has more books than even this, but we've tailored it down a little bit, but he loves to read different business books all the time, so this is where he collects it. And again, there's plenty of storage for all of his knickknacks, all of his gadgets, all of that fun stuff. So this is our home office, and it is maybe used second as much like to the kitchen. So the kitchen's probably the most used. This might be the second most used room in the house. Okay, I think we've seen all that there is downstairs, so let's go check out some bedrooms upstairs. So this is the primary bedroom here in our home. It has undergone quite the facelift. The ceiling in here was so lofted prior to this that it actually didn't have any sort of insulation. So we were really hot. We were putting a cooling pad on the mattress. It was sweaty mess, awful. So, and that's after we changed out the windows, and it was still so hot in here, solely because we didn't have insulation above us. So we actually lowered the ceiling and blew in insulation and actually put in some beautiful beams, because if we're doing something with the ceiling, we may as well make it look beautiful and purposeful. So I added in some dark wood beams and a nice dark walnut stain. And these were crafted by my contractor, who is a very talented woodworker. I stained them myself. Whenever we do projects around the house, I like to get my hands in it. And so I painted the walls, I stained the beams, all that fun stuff, just because, number one, it saves money. And number two, it's almost therapeutic to use your hands and get a little physical, even though it is easier to have other people do it for you. But it saves us some money too, which is always a win-win. So something that we did in this space to really amp up the cozy feature and to make it feel more warm and inviting was we put in this fireplace. Sounds like a huge undertaking, but it was actually very easy. This is an electric fireplace. I actually bought it on Amazon. Super easy, affordable. And then we built out, I had, my contractors that I work with all the time build out the facade, and these are actually ledger stones that you can buy from Floor and Decor that we separated out and overgrouted to create this very cottage-like feeling. This has transformed this space so much to where I never wanted to be in my room before, and now I just love it. It's just so inviting and relaxing and cozy, and so fun it's fun for me to see and feel that transition just by adding in such a nice feature that really did not, cost an entirely exorbitant amount of money. So it's nice for me to feel that when I invest so much of myself, my energy, and my creative juices into spaces, and to be able to receive that in our own home with something that feels very daunting and large, but it actually is pretty attainable to do. So I love this fireplace. It was a really fun addition to the bedroom. Something that I actually did differently in here was I added more warm tones in my colors, the cool tones. So typically I stick in more of the blues, I do a lot of greens, but I wanted to bring in this rust bedspread, which Kitty loves, because I felt like I needed to really engage with the beams and the flooring and kind of unite it with something that's really earthy and inviting. And so I got this bedspread from Quince, which I love. It's really beautiful, and it's linen, cozy, earthy, organic. So the texture is there. It's nice, again, layering the textures and the patterns. So you can see here, the tassel on the pillow lends to the floral here, and then the embroidery here. It's just all these little details work together to create a cozy and inviting atmosphere. And then here, we're moving into velvet chairs and with the more quilted textural pillows. So again, earthy. That was really what I was going for in here. I just wanted it to feel cozy, inviting, and like we could just be in here, which we never felt before. So this transformation happened more recently, and I can't say how much I love it enough. So, and obviously Kitty likes it too. He's in here all the time now. So next I'd like to show you our primary bathroom. It's small, but it definitely gets the job done. We wanted to maximize the space by having a large enough vanity for his and her sinks and that sort of area with storage. And then we also felt like it was very important for us to have a tub and a shower. So in here, we actually had an angled ceiling and lots of dead space. So the room actually went that way a little bit, but we closed it off and squared it off here so that we could maximize the shower space. And so it actually gave us like 3 extra feet on our shower. And as you travel in here, you can take a look, but I wanted to make sure it was very organic feeling with some modern hints. So we have the pebble stone on the floor to give you a spa-like feeling, but then also on the walls you have your vertical stacked tile that actually looked very aged, and they look like they've been around for a while, but they still lend to the modern lines while still feeling homey, organic, cozy, and inviting. Something else that we did in here was incorporate lots of warmth through the wooden pieces. So I feel like adding in a little, tabletop for your tub, the tray, is so important to just, dress it up a little bit. It's like a little accessory. You don't leave the house without putting on a necklace. Put a tray on your tub. To me, the word home goes beyond a house, beyond a stack of bricks. It's what you do with it and how you live in that home. Home is where your family is. Home is where you spend your time together and where you make memories. And so I feel like building a home that is special to you is so important because that is what you hold with you forever. So overall, I feel like the memories you make in your home are the most special. And when you have a space to do that, that is inviting and that you want to be in together, that is what home is to me, where you can make your memories. All right, Homeworthy, well, thank you for coming and spending your morning with me. But I think it's probably time to go. But you can come back here to my place in Austin anytime. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.